So how has the overthinking been this Gemini season? Someone pointed out the other day on social media saying that manifestation was impossible without having a regulated nervous system. The planet Mercury that rules speech, thoughts, and the magic of the word also has a very close relationship to the nervous system. They say that we speak our reality into existence. And so the more that we affirm our reality, the more things get to grow, manifest, and be abundant. But here's where the problem comes in with this energy. There are so many thoughts, ideas, contradictions, and things in between that it's really hard for you to pinpoint right now probably exactly what it is that you desire. Don't feel the type of way about that. That is by design, because this new moon in Gemini wants you to think of all the options, to exhaust all of the ideas. So whatever remains at the end is precisely what you actually want to use your energy towards. So how is this working in terms of the cosmos? Well, we have Jupiter and Gemini in this last stint here while we're having a new moon in this position. And although astrologically it's not exactly conjunct, there's still a huge emphasis here. Basically saying whatever it is that you land on as the reality that you want to push forward into your future, this is the time to do it. But let's take a step back out of this for a second and explain this from the bottom up for anyone who may be new to this. So a new moon happens once a month. The same way a full moon happens once a month. When it's a new moon, you look up in the sky for the moon and there's nothing to be seen. As a matter of fact, it appears invisible. That's because the sun and moon are joined together in the same zodiac sign, in the same position. Throughout the ages, this is when people have been known to manifest or to put intention out into the universe. Whereas on the full moon, this is the cultivation of what you were trying to first manifest, or the first inklings of what it is that you want to see. So what is it about this new moon in Gemini that makes it special? Well, this is about an invitation to accept the duality of life. The light and the dark, the good and the bad, the left and the right, anything that you want to think about in that capacity. We're talking about integrating that duality. Because this new moon isn't about being perfect about anything. It's about the presence of being able to hear, see, observe, and create from that point. Adding to this, Mercury in Gemini is joined to this new moon. The major question here is, are your thoughts working for you or are they working against you? But the thoughts that you have that are running through your mind, are they thoughts of your own or are they the thoughts of other people that you've accepted as your truth? The reason why this new moon in Gemini is so important is because you're actually going to be filtering out the noise from the outside and finally just hearing what's going on in your own head. And trust, there's been so much happening in the world. But this is your chance to detach and see where you're coming from and to harness and embrace that truth for what it is, not to shame it. This is a deeper seated new moon than on the surface though, because this is also making a trine over to the planet Pluto, transformation, rebirth. This is your time to let go of that societal pressure. Oh, you're this age, so you should have already blah. Oh, haven't you done this for X amount of time? Isn't it supposed to be like, shut up? This new moon is the opportunity to break those old thought loops that have been literally ruining your life. Most things that don't occur happen because we overthink ourselves out of the true situation. We try to fully avoid what's going on in front of us for what we think should be going on in front of us. But that's also part of the duality of Gemini. What's real, what's not real, but how do we make it real? How do we capitalize on the mental growth and clarity that Jupiter and Gemini has been trying to teach us? And I know usually with astrological transits, it's like, oh, this is a great thing and everything's all positive. But honestly, Jupiter and Gemini also taught you just how duplicitous some people are when it comes to you. This may also reveal the fake friends you have in your circle. Those people who are trying to take advantage of your kindness. Those who might champion you in front of your face and talk crazy about you behind your back. This is also bringing that out. So how do we truly integrate with this new moon in Gemini so the manifestations and desires that we have actually get to push forward? It's as simple as this. What is your truth? If you have the time, I would grab yourself a notebook, get yourself some paper, and literally just write down all the qualities and traits that make you you. Extra points, write down all the things that people have said about you that are inherently negative. Make a Venn diagram if you want to. What's actually true? What is completely out there? What do I feel like I can improve on? All of these things are finally taking its head. And it's up to you, once this clarity lands, to then take what is clear to you, what you know, and then move that motion forward. Give yourself the time. Give yourself all of Gemini season if you need to in order to really dial this in, because this is the truth that you're going to be pushing forward with this Saturn and Aries and on. I'll be having a separate video for that later. But outside of the new moon itself, just to get a little bit of transparency across, I have been having an awful 2025 overall, I would say. If I'm being really real with y'all, I think I've never fully got back on track after the fires in LA happened and the evacuations and such like that. I genuinely, in hindsight, don't think I hopped back to the same amount of clarity and consistency that I was on prior to that. It was something that was so outside of my window of thought that I think it's taken me a really long time to like try to gear myself back to that specific level of showing up and being ahead and being on time for all of these type of situations. I know I used to be way more on it with the live streams, but there's just been like a lot of change happening. And again, with transparency, my Saturn return is starting myself, right? And I've just been feeling the pressurization. I'm sure people who are maybe in my age bracket are feeling the same thing, to where it's like it's the pressure of like, yo, you started this motion to make all this happen. And one of my critiques to self that I've had for a really long time is that I'm like, but even this isn't exactly what I wanted it to be yet. So I've tried different avenues. I've attempted to work and do greater things to bridge things together, but it never works out. And I started to kind of beat myself up about it, because my heart is really just trying to make sure people can find their power and self again. And I did that for myself through astrology, and I've helped thousands upon thousands of people do that. But I feel like the culture is changing. I feel like the way that we interact with media is changing. I hate social media entirely, just to be honest with you, but I love connecting with all of you, right? So, in terms of even this new moon in Gemini, I'm finding different ways to give you all services, to find better avenues to get you better information, while I'm also sorting out what is it that I want to say moving forward in the future, not just as an astrologer, but just as a being, as a man. And I just wanted to be more intentional when it comes to things. I feel like a lot of times I get things done, but I feel like I'm rushing, or it feels like a homework assignment. And I really just want to be so much more and more mindful about that, because I, as much as in my head I'm like, oh, this is just a video, and like, oh, I just covered the astrology, I know that a lot of the things that I've said or done really do help people out. And I've definitely dropped the ball in some cases, just in terms of not having my own energy, not letting myself have rest, pushing myself beyond my own capacity. And so I just wanted to kind of talk to y'all this new moon in Gemini to, one, explain part of that, and also to let you know that you're not alone on that, right? We're in some precedenting times in the world in general. But it's just like, that sometimes that truth will set you free though. Or at least like I feel better. Just being honest about that with y'all. I don't have the full energy to do the card pulls either, but I will be having in the newsletter the explanation of what's happening for each sign. So make sure that you read the newsletter along with this as well. And I should be returning to do the full moon tarot and everything else like that for this upcoming full moon in Sagittarius. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. Just wanted to give you all a little bit of information. I have things that I have to do today. Life has been super busy, but much love to you all. Thank you all for showing love. I know this isn't the most extravagant video that I've had ever, but stay tuned. I'm trying to give myself the space to come back in a way that I'm proud of, versus in a way that makes me feel like I have to keep up with the times that are always changing. So, yeah, appreciate the love and the patience for that. And if y'all have any questions specifically, feel free to reach out and etc. I'm still doing readings as well. Um, but yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I'm gonna spend the rest of this new moon in Gemini really kind of dialing that part in because it's this whole new moon is about changing the way that your inner dialogue speaks to you. That's the true secret of it. But I'm only gonna say that for those who watch this entire time. So aside from that, appreciate you all. Thank you all for the love. Happy new moon in Gemini, and I should be back soon with some more fun things shortly. Let me get some rest first though. Much love, y'all.